Hey everybody, welcome to a modern video. So, as you may be aware, the card Underworld Breach is breaking every format right now. There's a Pioneer combo deck, there's a Modern combo deck, and there's a Legacy combo deck. And this is the current iteration of the Modern version. This has been developed by Pascal Maynard, and basically the plan is to get Underworld Breach into play with a grinding station, and then you win somehow. So the loops are, if you play any 0 mana artifact out of your graveyard, you can sack it to Grinding Station, which lets you mill 3, which lets you play that card again. Eventually you'll hit Mox Amber, and then with your Mox Amber, you have Teferi and Emry as your legends, so I guess you need a Emry. You'll eventually hit Emry, then you cast Emry, and then your Mox Amber starts making blue mana. So you start looping Mox Amber. Each one mills you for 3 and makes 1 blue mana, and eventually you won't have a deck, and you can win with Thassa's Oracle. There is probably also a line where you can burn your opponent out with Galvanic Blast. However, the red mana would be difficult to come by because you don't have any red legends, so that seems unlikely unless they're just at 8 or whatever, or the game goes long. And the other alternate win con is Dance of the Manse, which lets you just spew a bunch of 4/4s into play and hope it's good enough. With Teferi, you can even end step this and just go off in their end step. You know you're safe. Muddle the Mixture is sweet technology because that gets Grinding Station, Breach, Oracle, or Dance of the Manse. Those are all 2-drops that you can transmute for. And I mean, that's the deck. Like, this is a pretty linear combo deck here. There's not really a backup plan. Every plan involves filling your graveyard with stuff. In the sideboard, there's like Fact or Fiction and some ways to go long, Blood Moon against Amulet, Timely Reinforcements to make sure you don't get run over by Burn, Hope of Girapur against the counterspell decks. So there's some options here, but in general, if we're not comboing, we're not winning. Thassa or Emry and Oracle Beatdown is not really where you're going to want to be. But this card is breaking most formats. Let's play it while we can. Let's get into some games. Alright, so we're on the play for game 1. This hand doesn't have a 0-mana artifact or cantrips. It does have the Grinding Station though and Teferi. I'm going to keep this. And I'm not excited about it, but mostly for science. Like, let's see if hands like this are remotely good enough. Uh-oh, it's the mirror match is likely here. Alright, sweet. We found a bauble. So now it's game on. So there's 2 things I could do here. I could play Grinding Station and then cast Bauble and mill myself for 3. Or I could look at the top of my deck and shuffle. That is a much better play. I should probably do it now because if I don't like the card and I'm going to fetch, then I get to put Grinding Station into play. Alright. I don't care about Metallic Rebuke because I'm going to cast a Fairy next turn. So counterspells are kind of goofy. Grinding Station does trigger off its own entry into play, but that doesn't matter right now. When you have some other artifacts in play, it does. That gets you a free extra spin. Oh wow, any artifact. That's kind of funny that it triggers off theirs too. Alright, Nile Spellbomb. So we're going to have to work through that, but we can. It's not a big deal. Okay, so I could slam Teferi here into this possible Metallic Rebuke. Or I could play Arkham's Astrolabe and try to develop a little more. I'm going to go for Teferi. It could be Rebuke or Dispute. Those are both cards that get played. Or a card could just resolve and we're off to the races. So I think I want a plus to Fairy here, because I want to bounce Nile Spellbomb in the future, so I can try to go off. And I don't want to bounce Astrolabe. I guess I could target their Nile Spellbomb now. And if they pop it in response, then I don't get to draw a card, and they do. Yeah, that seems pretty bad. I'm just going to plus to Fairy, and hope they can't kill it for no value. Plusing it gets it out of burn spell range also. Like, this isn't going to die to a Galvanic Blast here. Alright, my thoughts are not that great, so go ahead and seize them. This will be interesting, like, alright, I was gonna say, like, are they worried about my velocity and finding a combo with Astrolabe, or are they worried about me controlling them out with Cryptic Command? Alright, so I'm not gonna be grinding here, not while they still have that Spell Bomb around. Alright, so I can... Alright, there's a play I can make here to get ahead on cards. I'm gonna float a Snow Mana and bounce my own Astrolabe. So I draw a card off to Fairy, and then I get to recast the Astrolabe. I should have stacked Astrolabe first in case I draw some combo piece. Like if I drew Breach, it's possible that I would have wanted to mill there. Alright, let's see if they're gonna slam Urza this turn. So with Thoughtseize, that makes me think they're like blue-black Urza and they're not the mirror. Target player draws 2. Alright. The fact they played Mystic Sanctuary last turn tells me that they're missing land drops. Okay, so they found one. Let's see if they want Thoughtseize or Charm back. This is kind of interesting. Alright, they want Thoughtseize back. Fair enough. That's a good card. Alright, so Thoughtseize is in hand. Oh wait. Target player. I can just mill their Thoughtseize. That seems pretty sweet, actually. Alright, technology. Build aggro grinding station. Uh-oh, do we win? I believe that we do. Oh wait, no, they still have the spell bomb. So I need to deal with this spell bomb before I can do anything else. Though, can I beat this spell bomb though? So if I just play Breach, they can... If they don't bomb me in response, I can cast Astrolabe and just get some value. If they do bomb me in response, then I can go off. I think I'm going to cast this Breach and see what happens. Or I could just bounce end step with Cryptic Command. Alright, I guess Cryptic Command is my tiebreaker here. Yeah, I might have been able to go off through the bauble or the spell bomb. Oh wait, did I just had 6 mana. I think I didn't count out Chalice. So if I went 1, 2, 3, 4, bounce Nile spell bomb with Cryptic Command, just bounce draw, they have to bomb me, then I can breach and win. Yeah, I just missed lethal. I missed this 1 mana sitting over here when I was doing my calculations. Alright, they just slam Urza. What does that do? I don't care about Urza. Like, what I'm worried about here is if I go counter bounce, they just go land, redeploy spellbomb, and then I've done nothing. Alright, but if we just go to the end step. Alright, now we're doing it. Return, bounce target permanent, draw a card. So I'm not going to get to draw a card because they're going to bomb in response, almost certainly. And because I have Teferi, they can't do anything about it. Draw your card. Alright. Alright, my graveyard's gone. We missed lethal last turn, but remain unpunished. Okay, so I'm gonna play this, mill myself, sacking this. And breach, and now we win. Oh, even have Mox Amber? Nice. Alright, so exile, exile, exile. There's a lot of clicking involved, but we do just win. I'll click through this once, and then I'll skip it in future iterations on the video, because you don't need to watch this happen every time. Feel free to skip this if you already know how it works. Yeah, so I'm netting mana. This is free to do. Sweet, there's Emery. I like Emery. I found Dance in the Manse also. Alright, I think you get the idea. I am going to pause the video. We can come back at the end of the combo. See you soon. Alright, so I've reached the bottom of the deck. Thassa's Oracle is in my graveyard. And Devotion is 4, and we win. Alright, so we're playing against Urza. Urza enjoys a Thoughtseize and Counterspell. So I think I like Hope of Ghirapur. Probably Mystical Dispute. I'm not sure if this is a fact or fiction matchup. If this isn't, what is? But at the same time, seems kind of medium and unnecessary. I'm not sure if the Manse is going to do any dancing. Teferi was an all-star, though. Cryptic might be a little... I don't want to... I was going to say it might be a little hopeful because we want to be faster than that, and they're a better Cryptic command deck, but the bounce mode was really good there. Maybe I'll leave one around. Engineered explosives, not the best. Like, explosives in this matchup is pretty much just a 0 mana artifact. Though it does kill Spellbomb. So maybe explosives is better than Chalice. I don't think I need Swan Song on top of my 4 of these and Cryptic. Alright, let's do this. Alright, so we're on the draw in game 2. I'm going to keep this hand. Even though it doesn't have any protection, it does have a turn 3 win. Like we go Sanctuary, Steam, turn 1 Sanctuary, turn 2 Steam Vents, Grinding Stone, turn 3 Breach Explosives off. I guess we would need a 3rd land to actually win on turn 3 to cast the Emery to get the mana for Mox Opal. Alright, let's just hope we draw land. They went to 5. Ooh, Thoughtseizing Grinding Station is pretty brutal here, if that's what they're doing. Alright, we found the land. Alright, we'll figure out pretty soon how hateful they are. They went to 5, so I assume they kept a hand that does anything. Alright, so now I have an interesting choice to make. I think I'm just gonna run out these artifacts. Because now I can hold up Metallic Rebuke and still bobble myself. And if they just do nothing, I can cast Grinding Stone with Rebuke up next turn. Yeah, I think these artifacts are just more useful in play. Alright, so that just resolves. Alright, let's see what they got. Hopefully they just jam Urza and then we untap and win. Or they just have nothing. Interesting. I'm just going to keep all of my resources around. Alright, so now what happens? I think I can get Hallowed Fountain here. Alright, so I think I lead on Breach and then see what happens. Like if they tap out for Mystical Dispute, I can just win. If they have Rebuke and Dispute, we can have a little fight, and then I can win next turn. It's going to be kind of interesting dancing around surgical if this thing just resolves. Also, since I have double breach, it just like doesn't matter. Alright, so now it's like we just win, or they need a surgical or force of negation, I guess. Free spells required. Yeah, so we got to find an emery and an opal, or amber. Opal, I wish. I'm leaving this rebuke in the graveyard. Or I guess it doesn't matter. I don't get to reduce its cost. Wait, can I? I think I can reduce its cost out of the graveyard, though don't quote me on that. Should probably sack my untapped one, huh? Get some value. Alright, moment of truth. Do they have surgical? Alright, there's the emery. One, two, three. Alright, now we've done it. And there's the amber to go with it. Alright, I know Mystical Dispute works. Out of the graveyard. It's hard to know if my opponent thinks they can interact or if they're just making me click through. But whatever, I chose to play a combo deck. This is not going to take me 10 minutes to do. It's insane that it just makes its own, just gives you all of the resources you need to keep going. All right, my opponent finally understands that they're dead. Wow, that was easy. This deck's messed up. All right, round two. This hand cantrips. It has combo protection. It does need some more lands and a grinding stone, but I'm going to keep it. If my opponent has the soul read, they can force some negation this astrolabe, and I lose him on the spot. All right. I'm going to bobble them in their upkeep. That lets me know what they're drawing, and if they're a discard deck, it means they can't hit the card I'm going to draw off bobble. Alright, Windswept Teeth. Could be anything. Oh dear. This was a bad hand to keep the one-lander against. Arbor Elf is only in one deck, and it's Ponza. But luckily I'm holding up Metallic Rebuke. Oh, I should play one-on-one also. Alright, so I'm holding up Rebuke still, and I can blow up their elf, or any subsequent elves they try to play. And like if they try to load up a land with enchantments, I can clear those out too. Like so. Alright, what do you got? Pillage. Targeting that. I don't think I want that to happen. Okay, so they were counting on that pillage to have their play make sense. Land? Alright. We're in business. Notably, I can't cast this to Fairy because I'm about to lose my Astrolabe, but I think that's worth it. Who's the Ponza deck now? I'm gonna get pillaged. Alright, let's just draw a fetch land off the top. I'll take an Astrolabe. Amber. I think I have to save that. I don't want them to know what I'm capable of until I'm already doing it. Ruh-roh. Alright, hitting Once Upon a Time. Could have been worse. Oh, Glorybringer, Jesus. Wait, what was that Magus of the Moon from? Oh no, they bottomed the Glorybringer. Magus of the Moon is in their hand. Okay, that's what just happened. Okay, so I can kill this thing. I can also kill Magus of the Moon. Alright, I'm gonna turn on Metalcraft by playing this. That's probably better than not doing that. You can't play lands off Breach. I can play Mishra's Bauble though. I don't think that's worth doing. Not yet. I can take 3 at least one more time before I have to decide where this Galleonic Blast is going. Alright, so do I care about Magus of the Moon? I don't think so. Because I have Astrolabe. This one attacks harder, so I want to get rid of that. Okay, we're in business. Alright, so they have 2 cards in their hand. They're attacking for 2 a turn. Clothis. Okay, so that can exile cards from my graveyard. Alright, the race is on. I believe if I draw an untap or a land right now, I win. Okay, so I cast Breach, and then I mill until I hit Emery, and then Emery turns on the Amber, and then I win. Found Emery very quickly. So they need some sort of like instant speed interaction. Alright, that's not super important. I'll just play it again. Welcome to playing fair against Underworld Breach. Alright, so Emery's back. Yeah, they need to kill Grinding Stone, not Emery. Okay. They are now hellbent, and we are gonna win. Oh wait, that's not true, because... Oh, they did successfully pick off all the Emerys. Okay. I see what you did there, opponent. Smart. Alright, so... Tarn, Sanctuary, Teferi. So... Yeah, my Ambers don't make mana. I actually punted that, because if I had replayed my second Amber before I played the second Emery... Alright, if I lose this, it's totally my fault. So, how can I get the most value out of what's left of this turn? I think I want to go a little deeper. Try to draw some more cards. Guess I can bobble myself and manipulate what I draw a little bit. Mishra's Bauble is on top of my deck. That's not a helpful draw, so I can mill it. I can play another one. Alright, Breach is on top of my deck. That's what I want. Easy peasy's on top of their deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That does not get them the devotion they need. Alright, I should be able to win again next turn. Guess they also get to draw 2 cards. Just have to hope these things don't produce 2 devotion. Alright, I think we made it completely by accident. Alright, so I can just breach again. I have Mystic Sanctuary as a land drop, so I don't have to worry about these fetch lands and if they can actually get anything. I don't think the Manse is going to have to dance either. Alright, found an Emery. I'm going to play Mox Amber first this time with my big brain. Alright, there's the Oracle. That should do it. Alright. We punted that one and then unpunted that one. So that's 2 matches in a row that I missed lethal and then won anyway. Alright, so Aether Gust seems pretty good against this deck. Like, they're probably going to have one chance at doing something cool, and then then that's going to be that. Yeah, again, Cryptic Command seems kind of hopeful against this deck. Aether Gust seems like mostly a better Cryptic Command here. Yeah, just minimal sideboard. Right back in it. Alright, so we're on the draw. They already mulled to 6. I'm going to keep this, because we can cantrip, we have 2 lands, we're holding up Rebuke starting turn 2, and Teferi can shut down any surgical or whatever nonsense they might have. We just have to pretty much hope to fade a turn 2 busted thing. Alright, they have Bloodbraid Elf. Oh, now I can just hold up Dispute, or Rebuke, whatever this one is. I've shown you my hand, opponent. What are you going to do about it? Just nothing. Love it. Okay, since they did nothing, I can bobble them. Because I'm going to play Astrolabe, and then I'll have 2 artifacts still up to Rebuke with. Relic of Progenitus coming my way, alright. Breach. Okay, so how worried am I about Relic? Because I could just Grinding Station mill them. I guess I could also just Rebuke Relic, if I care that much. Alright, now I can't Rebuke Relic. I can Rebuke Bloodbraid or what it cascades into, whichever one I'm more scared of. Alright, so let Cascade resolve. Yeah, I'm more worried about Seasoned Pyromancer than Bloodbraid Elf, I think. I wish I could have snuck this to Fairy down before Bloodbraid Elf. That would have been nice. Alright, countering the Pyromancer. I guess I should have bobbled in response. Gotten a little more information before I make that choice. But it's hard to imagine I would have made a different one. Glorybringer. Alright, they're on the edge of glory over there. Waiting for their moment to shine. I'm going to cast a fairy and bounce Arbor Elf this turn. I can't win right now, can I? No, I don't have my station in play. All right. Maybe that was bad. Maybe I just need to take 7, use Teferi to bounce the Relic. Maybe they just don't play Relic somehow. I guess the follow-up question is, can I beat Relic? Ooh, Oracle's in my hand. What does that change? Probably a lot. Okay, so if I... It actually doesn't change anything. I lied. I take it all back. It might change things for next turn. I don't think it does anything right now. Alright, I'll play the grinding station and hope they can't destroy it. I guess I might as well play this on 1 since it's here. No, maybe not. Maybe I need to keep a 0 in my hand in case they relic me in response to the breach. Or in response to the first activation. I'm going to keep it in my hand. Just seems better there. And also notably, if they cast Glorybringer, then they can't pop their relic. Alright, just getting their beats in. Alright, 2 mystery cards in hand. Hope they're not pillage. Grafdigger's Cage. Wow, that's a nightmare. Okay, that's so much worse than anything else they had been doing. So there's 41 cards in my deck. I am not particularly close to the slow Oracle. Creature cards. Oh wait, this doesn't... Oh, spells can't be cast. It does do something. Never mind. I was excited for a second. I need 6 or more for this to matter. Alright, so I could get back Bobble, and Bobble, and then die. Yeah, the second hate piece here was too much. Alright, yeah, I'm dead. I can stop thinking about it, save time for game 3. Alright, so they have a bunch of artifacts that are hard to beat. Ceremonious Rejection, Cryptic Command. Maybe I just spewed too hard on that Teferi that game. Like if I had been more patient, just soaked up some damage, maybe I could like Teferi plus combo all in one turn. Instant sorcery or enchantment. Yep, that they don't have any of those that I saw. Alright, so I think I like the cryptics more than I like the ceremonious rejection. This rejection has to be in my hand, like up front. I'm gonna dump the galvanic blasts also. And they're pretty good against elves. Is that enough reason to keep them? I have the Gus in, I have the Rebukes in. Alright, I'm shaving on these. Alright, don't know what this hand does yet, but I'm keeping it. Bobbling myself doesn't matter because I'm gonna be casting Astrolabe this turn, regardless. Opponent's deep in the tank about Mishra's Bauble. If it's time to Force of Negation it with all their blue cards. Alright, now they're in that F6 world. Alright, they're drawing Clothis. Alright, found our station. And Pillage, bummer. Ooh, that was a sweet draw. That's kind of silly, but I'm into it. So I could muddle the mixture, this Pillage. I think I have to just do that. As much as I don't want to. Like if this was Stone Rain and not actual Pillage, like Pillage can also destroy artifacts. If it was Stone Rain, I would have just run out Grinding Station and hit my land drops afterwards. Let's see if they lead on Pillage or Clothis. They should probably play Clothis. Alright. They weren't listening to me. Alright, yeah, let's get rid of that. Alright, back to the grind. I have the Hall of Heliod's Generosity, so I can just start digging for a breach. Bummer. Do I have any out to this? No, I cut my Galvanic Blast. I'm an idiot. I guess I can bounce it with Cryptic, the same I would any other way. And I am holding the Oracle, so we could, if I make this game last a long time, there's a chance. I probably just have to play Oracle as a blocker here, though, and try to find Dance of the Manse. I don't want either of those. Running Oracle out as a blocker is kind of dangerous because they could just like bolt eat it. Oh, they have the combo. The combo being Collector Roof plus an artifact. Ooh, hello. That's an answer to Oof that I forgot I put in my deck. So, like, maybe they'll tap out and I can just get them. I should have played Amber if that was my plan. Alright, Bloodbraiding into another Clothis. That's fine. Also fine. Alright, so how do I not lose? I think I block here. And I can gust the Oof. And try to mill a Breach. But that's not even good because then that turns on Relic. So I'm taking 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I go to 9. I take 2 in their upkeep. I go to 7. And then they attack. I block here. I still take a gajillion. Alright. I think I just have to take this. Emery's a sweet one. Kinda needed that last turn, Emery. Where were you? Yeah, this is gonna get wild, I think. Targeting engineered explosives. Alright, that's gone. I'm at 7. Oh no, are they finally getting me with the Glorybringer? Alright, time for math. Pretty sure I'm dead. Block, block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I at 1? So they attack. I have to put Breach on top before their oof is gone. Alright, so which of these, and they're both gonna die, it doesn't matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, that's my block. Oh, I can't do all of it. I have to gust this now. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't have the mana to do everything I needed to. Yeah, all of my stuff's dead. I'm dead in their upkeep to Clothis. Okay. If they get antsy and pop their relic, I could win. Alright, no I can't. Alright, I'm dead. Yeah, too much hate. I also forgot about Collector Oof, or I would have left in my Galvanic Blast. I think if I have Galv Blast instead of Aether Gust on that last turn, I might have had the mana to do what I need to. Oh, whatever. Alright, I'm gonna keep. This is our first quick, fair, and square Emery of the league. Alright, is this Amulet or some sort of... Oh great, it's Tron. And they have turn 3 Tron. Cool. Alright. So if we draw a Rebuke, we're still just very much fine in this game. Breach, huh? Breach is kind of interesting. What can I do with it? Oh, I should figure out what they're drawing. Blast Zone. Or they're not drawing that. That was a preemptive pop. Alright. I'll start shoving tons of permanents into play here. Because if they Karn, they have to pick what they're going to shoot. And I am going to mill myself here. Because if I find an Amber, I have 2 draws. I might be able to beat a Karn here. I don't know. We'll see. There's the TZ Chalice right on time. If this was in our opener, we could be holding up Cryptic Command this turn. Alright, there's Karn. Is it Emery or Grinding Station? What's your pleasure? Alright, so I'm looking for a red source. Got one. Is there Steam Vents left in my deck? Yes. Okay. Are we doing it? Alright, so Emery's gonna refire Grinding Station. Then we cast Breach. Pretty sure we're doing it. I just need to find an Amber. Alright. They had turn 3 Karn and we just won anyway. Gross. Alright, so Blood Moon's a good one. Ceremonious Rejection. That's what all of you are for. Engineered Explosives has very little text. Maybe actual 0 text. Yeah, I like that setup. Again, a real skinny sideboard plan. Don't want to dilute the deck too much. Alright, we're on the draw here, and I'm going to keep it. I have Blood Moon, some cantrips, and kind of disruption later. And if they have turn 3 Tron, they're going to be too fast for me here. And they probably will. And Tron always has turn 3 Tron. Having Breach is kind of exciting. Alright, show me your secrets. Ulamog. Alright, they don't have turn 3 Tron. So you're saying there's a chance. Alright, so I can slam Blood Moon. And then they'll have to work their way through that. Not that they can't, and they have Star and Forest, so like they definitely can navigate this if they have the requisite cards. We just left that green floating. I like that. Alright, I'll just ram this down, make them figure that out. And then we'll figure out the rest from there. If they do answer Blood Moon, I'm sitting on double Cryptic Command plus the whole combo. So we should be able to figure this game out, I hope. I don't think I can win right now. I think I'm 1 mana short. I'm just going to hold up Cryptic. Like, I can't Cryptic the answer if they have it, because I don't have... Or I do have triple blue. I have Astrolabe, never mind. I can totally Cryptic. Alright, they found the Thragtusk. It's like the best card they could find. But I got it covered. Alright, filter my blue into blue. Counter draw. Alright, now do I win? Okay, so I can play Station. I can Breach and still make blue. So they have to have Surgical here to beat me. I guess Surgical doesn't even beat me because the Oracle is just in my hand. Yep. And just dumpstered Tron. I really enjoy dumpstering Tron, so I'm glad that that just happened. Alright, so we're on the play here in round 4. We got a bit of a clunker. I'm going to keep it though. Once again, for science. Like, I'm not an expert on playing this deck. You're witnessing my first matches with it. So I'm figuring out what a keepable hand looks like and what one does not look like. And Galvanic Blast is such a polarized card. Like, it could be insane here, or it could just do nothing at all. Though, Arid Mesa... Oh, okay, Shriekhorn. Never mind. I was gonna say, most decks that contain Arid Mesa are probably a good one to have Galvanic Blast against. Alright, so I'm gonna just hold up Muddle the Mixture this turn, because I don't want to just die to a Cathartic Reunion. Alright, they found a dredge spell. I should have played Hall. That would have let me bluff that I don't have anything, but since I shocked that land in, I clearly do have some sort of spell to cast. But with Astrolabe, Hall would have let me cast Muddle also. So that was suboptimal. Countering that doesn't really do anything, because it still ends up in the graveyard. This is pretty sick. We can play Teferi and still hold up Muddle because of Mox Amber. So I'm not going to bounce Shriekhorn. That's what they want. I could just hold for a turn. Because now I have Breach, and I could Muddle for a Grinding Station. It's also pretty lucky that it's turn 4 and they're hitting their first relevant dredge hits. Alright, so they found an Amalgam. Alright, that's what we were waiting for. Let's hope they don't just have land and another one. Uh-oh. Well, we knew they had land. They've cast Light from the Loam 100 times. Okay. More Loam is fine with me. Alright, we did not draw Grinding Station, unfortunately. We did draw Muddle the effectively draw Muddle the Mixture. Alright, bounce this Amalgam. Transmute this for Grinding Station. And we can play Grinding Station and still hold up Galvanic Blast here. That's pretty decent. I'm not going to do it yet, because next turn we can just win all at once and it doesn't matter. Alright, they found a Conflagrate. They can use that to kill Teferi. My life total's still pretty high. I guess they could Conflagrate me and then land drop Bloodghast. Yeah, so they can do 8, put me to 6, attack for 3. That's not lethal. Kind of scary. They would have had lethal there if they hit another Creeping Chill in their top 32 cards. If they were on normal odds to mill one every 15 cards. Though that makes up for all the times that there's just 4 in their top 4 cards. And just like the first Stinkweed Imp just 12s you. Because that's usually my experience playing against Dredge. Alright, mana's being tapped. This does look like a Conflagrate. So they're going to clear out Teferi and deal a bunch of damage to me. Okay. That doesn't stop me from going off. It's Bloodghast, that triggers the Amalgam. I think I just kill this thing, right? Just save the damage. Alright, so I should grind myself end step. I'm just looking for Emery, and we found it. Alright, so engineered explosives. Mill myself with it in response. And now we get to go insane. Alright, so amber first, as I've learned. Then Emery. Alright, now we float blue and go off. Alright, I'm gonna pause the recording. I'm not gonna make you watch this again. Alright, opponent realized they were dead and scooped it up. Alright, so Tormod's Crypt comes in. I could see a world where Blood Moon is defensible. Aether Gust is probably better though. Like gusting a cathartic reunion. Woof. Yeah, I don't think I'm on that Blood Moon life. Though I imagine most of their hate is green, and most of their lands are red. Oh, I'm not convinced that that's the line I'm looking for though. Alright, so what are the cuts? Cryptic Command is worse than I need it to be in this matchup. Explosives is medium. Chalice is medium. I'm not sure when I'm supposed to cut Dance of the Manse. Like, do you just always want the backup plan? Alright. I guess I'll keep it, because just literally can't win if they have a surgical extraction or some way to mess me up. Yeah, I'll cut all the cryptics, have these sleeker counter spells. Combo still intact. I like the removal, that buys time. So I'm gonna keep this hand. It has Tormod's Crypt and Emery in it. Like I can turn one Tormod's Crypt and Emery right now. And I'm gonna get the red land because I have all these red spells in my hand. X is 0 is the right amount. This is gonna be tough to break up. And the deck is certainly capable of it, but it's good stuff. Ox. Alright, do I care about Narcomoeba? I don't think so. I can just shock that. Yeah, I'm not gonna pop this crypt yet. It's not juicy enough. I do need a land though. Preferably a snow land. Alright, that's snow land. I guess I can just, this is like free to bomb this. Yeah, so I can just Galvanic Blast the Bloodghast when I'm ready to crypt them again. This fetch land they have in play, though, is pretty good against that. Ooh, shenanigans. Doot 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 doot. Alright, so I'm just gonna Galvanic Blast, Bloodghast in combat. And we're gonna dance around this fetch land for a little bit. Or not, or they'll just cast their shit. I'll bomb here. Because that'll force the fetch land at least, and it'll get rid of the shenanigans. And it'll clear the prized amalgam. Because if they cast shenanigans targeting Tormod's crypt, then when I pop my crypt, shenanigans is on the stack, not in the graveyard. And that's a lot worse place for it to be for me. Alright, that's a good one. They're drawing Wooded Foothills. So now I can decide if I want to replay Bauble and draw another card. I think I do want to do that. The Crypt can hang out for a minute. Because now I'm also holding up Metallic Rebuke. Alright. We have a bevy of hate. Now we just need to win the game somehow. If nobody else ever draws another relevant card, we're losing this game. Nice. That's the wrong color. Whammy. And now we get to crypt them surprise from our hand. Don't have another one. Alright, we have another one. Alright, I'm going to play the crypt from my hand. See what they've got going on. They have Conflagrate. We'll see if they want to shuffle that away or not. Now that I have a backup crypt, I'm definitely just gonna bobble my face off here. So I could bomb them or I could just not. I'm not going to. Like, I could have cleared their dredgers, but I don't think that's important here. I probably should have stopped there, so now they can kill Emery. Yeah, I should have stopped in their draw step after they dredged, because I knew they were hitting Conflagrate. That was loose. Ooh, they went to combat. That's also loose. Alright, we cleared the Conflagrate. We didn't deserve it, but we did it. Oh no, what's this 4-mana spell? Alright, that is a 4-mana spell, confirmed. Alright, they have another one on top. They have no way to mill it. And I want as many draws as I can get, so I'll just take a peek at myself for style. Alright. Battlecruiser operational. Yeah, I'll mill myself. Alright, so Chilla's on top. I think I have to leave this Emery up as a blocker. Oh, that's so lame. Or I could mill them and... Okay. This is gonna get weird. Alright, so I'm gonna mill them, clear this Creeping Chill, and I can bomb them in response. We hit 2 of them, nice. Alright, now we just have to hope they can't deal 4 damage this turn. So I can win next turn if I'm not dead this turn. Guess if their hand is just like Ancient Grudge though, I still just lose. Alright. Did we do it? Are we safe? Alright, my opponent, Goblin Stand, fuck you man, you're a trash deck. Whatever man, good games. Give him the old GG, salty dredge player. What are you gonna do? So, I'd like to point out, they missed the Conflagrate that I gave them a chance to cast. I ended that game at 4 life, they could have Conflagrated for 4 and killed Emery. I also played really well by milling that Creeping Chill, finding the line. So, fack me anyway. GG opponent. Good luck being a dredge wizard. Alright, on the play for the last round. This is a keeper. So I can play Mystic Sanctuary and try to set up for stuff on turn 2. Or I can play Astrolabe and try to find an untapped land. So, pros and cons of each. If I play Sanctuary, next turn I have my draw step plus Astrolabe to find a 0 mana artifact that lets me cast Emery. On the other side, I have draw step plus Astrolabe to find an untapped land to cast Emery. But then Teferi is hanging out. So there's 8, 9, 10, 11 0 mana artifacts, and there are 18 lands in the deck. So I'm more likely to cast turn 2 Emery if I play Astrolabe now. But I'm more likely to have Teferi on time. But is that even important? Alright, I'm going to go with the Astrolabe. Alright, I found the land. If I find a 0 mana artifact, I can Emery plus Hold Up Rebuke. It looks like I'm getting discarded anyway. Alright, so I'm going to lose Emery here. Playing against Jund, actual factual. This matchup might be difficult, or it might be laughably easy. Though Jund has historically lined up well against the artifact-based combo decks because they have like Abrupt Decays and Assassin's Trophies and junk just in their deck. They took the Rebuke, which means they have Lightning Bolt. They're just ready to answer Emery. Alright, so I get to cast a fairy on time by doing this. Sucks they took the Rebuke, or else we could have done the thing I described to play turn 2 Emery with Rebuke available. Alright, we're losing to Fairy also. Alright, And probably getting bolted here. Yep. All right. Cryptic command, save me. Liliana would be pretty brutal here. All right, looks like they have just nothing. Engineered explosives. All right, so I can play around. Nah. I'm just going to leave that in my hand. No reason to give extra information. Plus, if I draw a grinding station, it gives me an extra grind right away. Thoughtseize. I'm going to counter it and draw. I was about to get fancy and like counter it and bounce Astrolabe, but that's literally just worse than counter draw. Like, wow, I'm so clever. Not. Now I am going to make that play, though. Alright, so I can play Teferi. I can make a snow mana off Amber. Alright, this is how we beat Jund. Just draw way more cards than they can discard. So I could play explosives for 2, get ahead of what they're likely to do. No, I'm just going to bobble in their upkeep. Uh-oh, land. That's probably really good for them. I suspect a Bloodbraid Elf is coming my way. Trophy, alright. Deal. I do like lands. I wonder what's in their hand that they just haven't deployed a threat yet. Yo, dog, I heard you like Teferi. Did I hear play that same turn again? It's my favorite song. Alright, there's the station. So now the question is, I was gonna say the question is, do I play this? And the answer is just yes. The reason being that if they destroy Grinding Station, I can just play Breach. I have so much mana, I can just play Breach and then cast Grinding Station off of Breach. So I don't even care if they destroy this. Alright, there's the Bloodbraid Elf. That they can't do anything because of Teferi. My clutch burn spell. God, Teferi's so messed up. This would be a great time to draw Dance of the Manse, let me tell you. It's not in my graveyard, is it? Nope. Alright, Grinding Station. I don't think I can just like aggressively grind myself here. I could play Engineered Explosives on 4 just to stop the next Bloodbraid Elf. Or on 3 to get ahead of Liliana, but that messes with Teferi. Alright, so green, blue, white, red. I guess I'm not hurting anything by running out the second station. I guess that plays into Maelstrom Pulse, but like I said, I don't care. And one station, it can sack itself, so I'm not even playing into Maelstrom Pulse. Yeah, we just need Breach now. So Muddle the Mixture, Hall of Heliod's Generosity, or Breach itself. I'll just do it. Dance the Manse also just wins the game. Alright, I don't care about that. My hand sucks anyway. Hmm. Alright, I'm gonna play this on 2 to get ahead of any like Dark Confidant or Tarmogoyf business. Teferi can draw 2 cards again next turn. Or I could be patient and just wait another turn. Though if they're Hellbent, it doesn't matter. I can just try to spew and go for the gold. Go for the Emery. So Emery gets eaten by Liliana. Though I think drawing 2 cards here is a good idea. So I don't even need to do that. I can just tap a land like a normal person. Alright, cool. We win. Count my mana first. So transmute for Breach. Cast Emery. And now we win. Too easy. Oh, my graveyard's huge. Alright. So the secret against Jund is draw all 3 Teferis while they have a handful of Bloodbraid Elves. Got it. Alright, so I do like Blood Moon against Jund. Aether Gust, also pretty strong. This might be a Fact or Fiction matchup. Alright, so Explosives is medium. Chalice, I think, is just actually bad. Cryptic's also pretty medium. They have so many discard spells. Relying on Cryptic is probably a mistake. I like the removal. I don't want to go any lower on Explosives. I can shave one more counterspell. Yeah, they're going to have Collector Oof and some amount of Graveyard Hate. And then we saw Assassin's Trophy game 1. They probably have Kolaghan's Command. So they can attack us in a variety of ways. We just gotta overpower it. Hope to get a little lucky, draw some extra cards. Hopefully we win the game with Fact or Fiction. Or this is probably the Dance of the Manse matchup. Like if there was a matchup that Dance of the Manse is specifically for, it's gotta be Classic Jund. That costs 8 mana to do full value. That's a lot. Though I guess you don't even need full value. You can just like do it for 1 and return Breach to play and then win. Or do it for 2 to get the Breach and the Station and go off. So yeah, this is a pretty great Dance of the Manse matchup. My hand's gassed. Another turn 1 Emery, though. They probably have a discard spell because it's Jund. Blah, blah, blah. Ooh, they did not. Removal is the same as discard for Emery, though. Uh-oh, the Oracle got milled already. We could lose to a Scavenging Ooze here. It is that easy. Alright. Emery's dead to Bolt. Take a peek in their upkeep. Liliana. Goyf. God, it's so big. Alright, and their next card after that is Bloodbraid Elf. Alright, so I could actually just value breach here. That would let me 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That would let me draw 2 cards and mess with the size of the graveyard a little bit. Is that actually good? Probably. Yeah, I'm doing it. I already knew about that one. I want to leave Oracle behind so I can still combo reliably. Value breach achieved. Tarmogoyf's or Teferi's a good one. It bounces Goyf, bricks that Bloodbraid in their hand. Ooh, they're missing a land. Inquisition. That's kind of lame. Alright, so I'm gonna cast Teferi. Get that out of here. Their Inquisition is definitely going to take Breach, though they have to choose between redeploying Goyf or casting Inquisition, which is kind of sweet. I'm going to hide the Mox Amber. I don't want them to know what I'm capable of yet. Like having a surprise extra mana next turn could go a long way. Alright, yeah, they redeployed the Goyf. We can win if we draw Grinding Station. We'd also just double bolt this Goyf. Alright, there's that. I'll get my card off Astrolabe. This also cycles for the second red. Ooh, Emery is Deece. 2 Grinding Stations in the bin. So I'm going to hang Emery out there, because if they draw the land, they might go for Liliana instead of Inquisitioning me, and I'm more interested in Breach than Emery. Like so. What the fuck just happened? Did I just go upstairs? Oh, I only have 2 artifacts. God, I'm so dumb. Okay. I deserve all of this. Okay. Time to draw Grinding Station and just win. Because there is no Justice Lord. Or Grinding Stations in my graveyard. I think I just win anyway. Can I do all of this with Metallic Rebuke backup? Jesus. Alright, time to win this game. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go off with just the full rebuke available. I guess right now is the window where they can rebuke me if they're gonna rebuke me. Or counter me, whatever I meant by that. Alright, now okay, so I should get another 0 into play. Alright, so now I can rebuke with impunity. Alright, my opponent is either a mastermind or just really friendly. They said they just want to see the combo play out. I'm happy to oblige. Whoops. Gotta float my mana. Yep, just milling. Again, remember to float my mana, though it doesn't matter at this point. I have the 3 I need to cast Oracle with backup. Alright, that was an easy 4-1, and I definitely misboarded in the match we lost. So this deck feels genuinely bananas. If there was a modern tournament tomorrow, I would play this. It wasn't even particularly difficult to navigate. Like I made a couple little missteps early on, and like just forgetting I didn't have Metalcraft. Like so. In the first 2 matches, I missed lethal once each, and then one on the following turn anyway. So definitely pretty resilient here. I regret we didn't get to dance with the Manse at all. But I'm definitely going to put this deck together in paper. I have a modern tournament coming up here in town. Though they did just announce that some bans are coming next week, so we don't know what format they're targeting or what's going on. But whatever. If this deck still exists, I'm going to be playing it for a while. Very powerful stuff. So thanks for bearing with me. I know everyone loves watching me just click through repetitive combo decks on Magic Online, and I appreciate you sticking it out. As always, hit that sub button if you enjoyed the content. Follow me on Twitter at Bosch and Roll. Thanks for watching.